Thank you everybody for coming. As David mentioned, I'm a horrible public speaker. Last time I was not wearing glasses, so I'm not aware how many women passed out. Okay, so I hope nobody passes out now. In any event, this is my first time in the United Arab Emirates, and I can't adequately articulate how much I respect this country, despite the fact that I just got here for many reasons. As David mentioned, I am founder and CEO of Joblio. So, what is Joblio? Joblio is a technology platform that connects employers and employees worldwide directly. And today, in the world where, where's my phone, where we're all connected by one of these things, there should be no reason why finding work internationally should be any different than finding work domestically. According to the International Organization for Migration, there are just south of 300 million labor migrants in the world today. As David, who sits on the board of the IOM, could attest, the real number is probably triple that. So there's close to 1 billion people who cross borders for employment. Right now, employers and employees are connected by a chain of middlemen. They're not connected directly, and therefore, prospective labor migrants, 90% of whom come from the lower socioeconomic stratus of their societies, are not capable of learning post-employment and often are charged money by various middlemen and agents to go work abroad, as they come from societies that are poor. For instance, sub-Saharan Africa, 90% of households make less than $50 per month. So clearly, they don't have the money to pay the middlemen to place them for employment abroad, and therefore they end up borrowing the money and incurring debt. And often, more often than not actually, they do not know their true salary or conditions of their employment before they arrive, and when they arrive they find out that they didn't get what they paid for. This process is called unethical recruitment. Unethical recruitment, in essence, is a situation where a prospective labor migrant is not aware of what the proposed terms of his employment are, and ends up paying for it. Recognizing this problem, developed the Montreal Recommendations on Recruitment. Okay, and while there are many scientific works and published works on the subject, okay, the reality is that ethical recruitment basically means that you pay nothing for finding work. So this space is humongous. Like I said, there is probably close to 1 billion people who are labor migrants in the world, and this ecosystem consists of 4 participants. And the 4 participants are the labor migrant, the employer, the government of the host country, and the government of the originating country, which is the country that the labor migrant originates from. So, what is the situation today? The situation today is that all 4 participants are at a disadvantage. The labor migrant gets, roughly speaking, cheated, okay? And as a result of that, there are human rights violations and all sorts of inefficiencies and problems that labor migrants face. Borrowing money to pay agents, they show up for work, they see that the loan that they had taken does not is not going to be repaid on the real salary that they make, and that creates all sorts of problems. Employers suffer a lot, okay? Employers suffer from churn, employers suffer from revenues that are not optimized, so they suffer from loss of revenues. The host country governments suffer because For instance, if you take the European Union, for instance, okay, Poland brought in 2.5 million labor migrants in 2019, but 70% of them did not stay with their employers past 60 days. So employers suffer from churn, and employers suffer from diminished revenues. And of course, governments of the originating countries suffer because these countries' GDPs are largely dependent on foreign remittances. And when the ecosystem is unstable, and when workers leave their employers, they don't get paid regularly, they don't send money home regularly. So different countries try to regulate this industry in different ways. However, I have to say that the true role model is the United Arab Emirates. Okay? This country has created Ministry of Human Resources, and with the wage protective system and other laws, is really a role model on how this should be done. Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, also is very good at regulating this space. And quite honestly, if the countries of the European Union would follow their example and would set up similar models that the UAE has established and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has established, the ecosystem would be much more efficient. And however, it all comes down to the ethical recruitment. Bottom line is that ethical recruitment is where you know the proposed terms and the proposed salary, okay, before accepting the employment, okay, thereby creating efficiency. And that can only come from direct connectivity, and this is what Joblio does, okay? Joblio connects you directly. Joblio allows the employer to post the job offer on Joblio, and it allows the employee to review, analyze, and think about the conditions of the employment, including potentially communicating with the employer. The employer can interview the employee all via an app on your phone, okay? So irrespective of whether you have an iPhone or an Android phone, and irrespective of whether you live in Sri Lanka or in the Ukraine or in Haiti, okay? You go on the app, you look at the jobs, you decide that you like a job, and then you apply, and the communications are conducted directly between each applicant and each employer. So as a result of that, as a consequence of what we're trying to do, which is to disrupt the existing horribly inefficient ecosystem, is efficiency, transparency, and compliance. Okay, so in the new ecosystem created by Joblio, everybody wins. First off, the employee is no longer cheated. Okay, so while it may be impossible to completely eradicate all the bad stuff, human trafficking, etc., Joblio mitigates that and reduces it. If Joblio gets accepted by the entire ecosystem, then it seriously mitigates this risk, okay? So the employee is no longer cheated, and the employee finding work for the employee in another country becomes no different than finding work in his own country. The employer now wins in the ecosystem because now employer gets happy staff, and as all HR people throughout the world know, as dictated by the behavioral science, happy staff turns companies into more efficient companies, their revenues are optimized, and all systems and processes work better. The governments, both governments, win in a very meaningful way. The government of the host country wins because now they know where everybody is, okay? They don't have illegal immigration on the same level that they have it now, so it's seriously reduced. Because why would you run away if you chose work by yourself and you accepted it with open eyes, okay? They also win in terms of taxation, particularly in countries where employment taxes are high, like in the European Union or in North America, okay? Because now workers no longer leave their employers, and therefore taxation doesn't stop, and there are revenues. And of course, governments of the origination countries win in a very serious way because their citizens are no longer abused. That's A. And B, now there are remittances, and the economic impact is felt the way that it should be. So this is, I did not want to spend the 45 minutes not to bore you all, okay, especially that everybody's had a couple of drinks. My mission was to describe what Joblio is, and thank you all very much for showing up, and I look forward to having more drinks with you all in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Job done. Not Joblio, job done. Evening presented. Thank you all of you for coming. Please, if you want to have some more drinks, some more interactions, but I really thank you for coming. Even those of you that had side conversations for 45 minutes, that's fine. I love these kinds of receptions. So, brilliant. Thank you, John. Thank you for all of you that came. Thank you to the awardees, which to me is close to my heart. Thank you very much, and enjoy. Good night. Bye.